You don't need 130 men at your singles ministry at your church in order to have good options. You need the one guy that the Lord has been pruning and discipling and training and growing for you. Like, you only need one.
Ask yourself, is this really worth it? Like, is what I'm going to need to go through in order for this to potentially work out worth it? Like, are there some women closer to my age? What's up, fam? Welcome back to our channel. My name is Tim. This is my beautiful wife, Pauline, and you're tuning in to another episode of the W Podcast, where you get wisdom in the word with the
Wheeler.
Hey, has Christian dating ever made you feel crazy? Whether it's, should I date my friends? Is the age gap too big here? How do I be a single person in my 30s? There's so many questions in dating, especially in dating in 2025, that can make you feel a little crazy. Like, am I the only one going through this? Our goal today is to help you not feel crazy. Our goal is to give you some clarity in these muddy, weird dating streets and try to give you some answers to Christian dating's hardest questions. Let's go. This week we're doing kind of a quick Q&A. We've been getting questions lately. We have like a Google form where people can submit questions, and we've got a lot of interesting ones. We try to condense it so that we can get it to a place where we're answering similar questions that everyone's asking, so that everybody feels like they're getting their questions hit. So
yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. So different setting, different type of format today. Going to switch it up for you guys.
Yeah, so we're going to be focusing on 3 different themes: dating your friends, or wanting to date your friends, or wishing that your friends want to date you.
Friendship and dating.
The second theme is going to be age gaps in dating, or what age is too young to start dating. I should have said or, it's going to be and that. And then also the third theme is going to be dating in your 30s with no good men in sight. How do you do that? What is that?
That's not even a theme. That's a whole.
It's reality?
Well, no.
For some people?
The theme, I guess, would be more of like dating when you feel no options, so that you have no options.
Yeah. So
Slim pickings.
This is going to be kind of quick fire, rapid fire.
Holy Spirit, we welcome you.
All right, I'm going to ask you the first question. You ready?
Ask me. Okay. Do I get to ask you the next one?
Sure, if you want. Somebody said, what should I do if someone I see as my ideal spiritual life partner only views me platonically? Even though our bond is so close, people assume we're together. I've tried to create a distance, but he keeps blurring the boundaries, treating me like a girlfriend, and even admitting to me that he treats me better than women he dates. Mm-hmm. I know, right? That's crazy.
Very confused. That's
Do you understand that? Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, she's being friend zoned, and he still wants to be friends.
Yeah, like she likes him.
But he doesn't like her like that.
Or he's not willing to.
He doesn't like her.
Sure, you could say that. Or he's not willing to. He likes her clearly because he's doing
as a
stuff.
Friend.
I mean, you could argue that he likes her more than a friend because.
But
he's
with
like,
his words and his like.
His actions are confusing. So that's her question: is like, how do I manage this? You may have to honestly be more strict. Like, you may have to honestly, and this is hard, like, you may have to try to separate yourself even more from him than you've already done, because clearly the message that you've been trying to send is not working for him. Mm-hmm. And I mean, depending on how close of friends you are, it sounds like you may have already had these conversations, because this is a paraphrased. I said, that sounded country as a mug on that joint.
Yeah, where you from?
I don't know, right? This is a paraphrased version of what she said. This is a longer question. But honestly, what you can do is, if you feel like you haven't done this yet, have an honest conversation and be like, look, we're great friends. I like you a lot as a friend, but it's not good for my heart to continue to be close friends with you when I have feelings for you. And if this person truly cares about you, they'll respect it, and they'll respect it.
What do you mean respect?
Yeah, you saying
respect in the sense of like he'll understand and respect her boundaries, or he'll respect just that she came to him with that conversation?
Yeah, if this person really cares about you, they should respect your boundaries and like be like, all right, I'll fall back. If they really care about you and they're emotionally healthy, that is a good response to me. Now,
given everything that she's told us about him, do you think that she should expect him to respect what she has to say?
That really wasn't my point. I wasn't trying to sit there. My
Okay.
point, because it doesn't really matter what he thinks. At the end of the day, this is what you need to do.
Okay, I'll explain why I'm asking these questions when it's my turn to respond.
Just go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, so the best way for me, this is my disclaimer and caveat for everybody, for the person who asked the question and for everybody listening, because we don't know who asked the question. These are anonymous questions. I'm going to answer these questions as if I woke up in this scenario. You know, if this was me, and what would I would do, because that's the best way that I can kind of, how we can respond, I can respond. I would just cut him off. I would kind of, and the reason why I say that, I know that's very harsh. I'm not saying that you like ignore him and you are rude if you guys do life together somehow, go to the same church, if you're family, friends, something like that. Like, of course, be cordial and respectful. But I think that you have to focus on what you can control. And you need to have realistic and healthy expectations of this friendship moving forward. Now, given the fact that he is very confusing and like how he acts and how and what he says, and there's like a little bit of maybe double-mindedness there and like just lack of boundaries on his part, your guys' boundaries don't align. That's basically what it's coming down to. He feels as though he can treat you and should treat you a certain way, and he's not really aware of how it makes you feel or the perception that it's giving off. Now, she didn't ask like what should I do, or like is she trying to basically be in a relationship
She
with
did
him?
ask what should I do in the longer question.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would basically kind of sit back and ask, like, analyze, hey, my friendship with this person, how has it been going? It's led me to this point. I don't like where I'm at. That's basically where, if I woke up in your shoes, what I would be thinking and saying, I don't like where I'm at with this person, regardless of the good times and the positive parts of this friendship. Like, of course, there's positive parts of the friendship, or she wouldn't have ever been friends with him. But it is hindering you. It is hindering your future and your capacity to love and have space for whoever does view you as a girlfriend and a potential wife. And if he doesn't see you in that way, like, you cannot control how people see you. So is it possible for guys and girls to be friends in a healthy way and not be in a romantic relationship? Sure. But this is not that case, because you have feelings for him and he doesn't have feelings for you. And it's painful to be close to somebody and be in an unrequited love, situation. So I would basically tell myself, like, as much as this hurts, as much as I feel like I'm losing my friend, I'm also choosing myself and my future and what God has for me. And me trying to pretend like, okay, well, maybe I just have one more conversation with him, things will change. Like, I'm sure you guys have been friends for several years at this point. I just feel like it's kind of time to face the music and say, all right, I've tried to be friends with him. It's not working. This is not healthy. And could we potentially be in a relationship together? Maybe. But obviously it takes two consenting adults, and he does not want to be with me, and that's okay. But this friendship is not working. So I'm choosing to leave the friendship. And it's not something that you need to kind of like give him a heads up with, because what is he going to say? And like, that's honestly giving him an opportunity to change your mind or convince you, because he doesn't want to lose you as a friend, I'm sure, which is why he treats you the way that he does. But I think it's kind of like, all right, I have to have a sober-minded conversation with myself and then like replace this friendship with something healthy, that is good for your mind and your soul, not something that's going to constantly make you question yourself and your worth as a potential wife to somebody.
Yeah, the Bible says guard your heart above all else. So if that is what you truly want to do, if you truly want to guard your heart in this situation, do exactly what Pauline said. I'm going to move on to the next question because it's still on friendship. I'll let you ask me the question on the next theme. But on the friendship theme, I want to ask you this because somebody asked a similar question in the sense that they're talking to a guy. Unfortunately, this is another woman.
Why is that unfortunately?
Because I wish these guys was more clear in their intentions or stop me doing dumb stuff. So anyway, she said that there's a Christian brother, that's how she said it, and I are friends. We both feel like we relate on a soul level. We trust and understand each other, but he has labeled us as friends. I love him, and my gut tells me he does too. I'm guessing that means that she feels like he loves her, even though it sounds like he ain't said that.
It sounds very similar.
What are some of the reasons, this is the question right here, what are some of the reasons he's labeling us as friends or does it mean it's just platonic love? So essentially she's asking, this guy, I think he loves me,
Yeah.
but his actions aren't showing that. Why is it?
Yeah. She's asking for insight, like help me understand the situation.
What's wrong with him?
What's wrong with all of us? Yeah, I mean, I feel for you because I think most women, especially if you're like in your 20s, out of your 20s, you've been in a situation where you feel like, all right, this guy could like me, but it's not clear, and not getting kind of the direction that I would really like from him. Am I supposed to beg for it? What's happening here? I think that like one thing that really helped me is taking time to understand how men's minds work. Now, I'm not trying to generalize and say every single man thinks and acts the same way, because of course that's not true. But there are like some fundamentals in like how men communicate that I think a lot of women, I myself, like did not know and did not understand. And like the first thing is like, you know, people talk about online, if he wanted to, he would. And to a degree, is that maybe toxic? Sure. But to a degree, it's also true. And it doesn't mean that a lot of men think men communicate perfectly and clearly every single time. Of course not. But if a guy really, really, really likes a girl, like he is going to make it known in a messy way sometimes, in a kind of incomplete way sometimes, but there's going to be effort. And it's really hard to know, because if you're saying this guy likes you and in your heart you feel like he loves you, and like that kind of jumped from
Well,
like,
let me say this, because you had a rule that you never assumed when you were single. You had a rule when you were single that said, if a guy does not tell me with his own words and lips that he likes me, I will not assume or think that he likes me. And obviously, that definitely means love.
Right.
So I feel like what you would say, going back to I'm going to share what I would do, you would say that this guy doesn't love you because he hasn't said it.
Well, right, and that was one of the thoughts I had, but I know that I'm not trying to be too harsh here, but maybe I need to be if we're supposed to be doing these rapid fire. Yeah, I would just go and you have to have a boundary for yourself, and sometimes with love and relationships and dating, we get very loose versus like, because the emotions are so high, versus like, oh, you're not going to assume that like a job wants you to work for them if they don't, you know, extend you an offer. Like that's very clear cut. You kind of have to do whatever makes sense for you to be able to move forward, because like you cannot be caught up in like what ifs and wondering.
Yeah.
And like I just kind of go about, you have too much to do for the kingdom of God to do that. So like you really need to have boundaries within yourself about like, hey, I'm not going to go on a whim in my mind and say a guy loves me when he's never even taken me on a date.
So let me answer, why is he treating me like this? There's a couple reasons he could be. One, he's scared. He's scared to actually be in a relationship with you because he doesn't want to lose the friendship. Two, he's immature. So even if he does like you or he doesn't like you, he doesn't know that he needs to be more clear because he's hurting your feelings. So honestly, it's one of those two things. He's immature or he's afraid. Either way, it's not.
What about he doesn't actually like her?
I mean, that falls into immaturity for me if like he's doing things to make her think that he's more than a friend.
Right, because he likes your affection and your time and attention.
Next question. I've been with my boyfriend for over 3 years, and now we're both starting college together. I really want to get married, but he's unsure. Is marriage in college actually realistic, and what should I do when we're not on the same page? I'll take this one. The interesting thing is marriage in college is realistic, but for a very small amount of people.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, in order to be married, if you want it to be as successful as possible, especially starting out, having some type of money helps. I'm not saying you need to be
money
balling.
and college don't go together.
Because Lord knows we did not have that much money when we first started, when we got married.
Yes.
But there needs to be some type of steady income coming in. And if you're both in college and nobody has any type of full-time job or any type of money coming in, it's not going to make sense. Obviously, there's people who do it and you could do it, but is it the wisest decision? Probably not. When I actually dated Pauline while I was still in school, she actually was graduated, but I dated Pauline for a year and a half while I was still in school. And we wanted to get married while I was there, and there was wise people, our pastor, my dad, people saying like, boy, you need to graduate and get a job.
Yeah, once about time.
So if there is no full-time job, it does not make sense. Now, for the ladies, we actually encourage, if you're still in college and you're watching this, like, you should probably consider looking into a relationship as you get closer to the end of graduation, or as you get closer to your graduation, because it's a lot easier.
Oh, you're going in a different direction now.
Well, we talked about this before off podcast. It's a lot easier when you're a woman. If we're going to talk about the ratios that people talk about, the ratios are more in your favor when you're in the college setting and around some other men,
right,
who potentially could be serious. So that's something you may want to keep in mind. That's another topic for a different podcast. If you would like us to go deeper into that, let us know in the comments. Mm-hmm. Second question. A godly man 15 years older than me, 15?
It's a whole teenager.
Has been pursuing me with genuine intention and helping me grow closer to Jesus. Spiritually, we connect deeply, but I'm struggling with whether the age gap makes the relationship unwise.
Mm-hmm. Did she say how old they are?
No, it's just 15 years.
Well, because, you know,
She's 75,
15 and 30
he's 60.
is different than...
I don't know. Quickly, though, what would you say?
I think, any age gap that's legal can work, depending on culture and mindset and a lot of different things, because like maturity is, as we all know, is not dependent on actual age. So it definitely can work if that's the only hang up you have. I think there are obviously some questions you have to ask yourself, and he should ask himself as well about, like, your friend groups. Like, because if you're 50 and you're dating a 35-year-old, like, but all your friends are also in their 30s, it's not going to bother you as much. Or if you have children, or how old your children are, things like that you're navigating, versus, if you've already raised your kids and you're with somebody who wants to have 3 spanking new babies, that's obviously going to, that ultimately boils down to age gap and just different places in life. So really, like, what you want out of life, where you are in life, matters more than the actual age gap. And that's really why age gap comes to be a problem, because it's like, okay, everyone's expectations and abilities and kind of where they are in life can differ. But if you're okay with that, and maybe you are a woman who, maybe you don't want any children, you don't feel called to be a parent or a biological parent, and you're fine with being with somebody who's older, who doesn't want any more kids, who doesn't want kids at all, then that's great. So it really depends, on that, but you do have to kind of ask yourself those things about, like, hey, potentially 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 years down the road, how would this affect, me, and like what type of lifestyle would I be signing up for? I don't want to go into anything blind, but just age in and of itself is not a problem. It's just about your preferences and really lifestyle, health, things like that.
Yeah, that's good. Next question, rapid fire. I'm a 27. Here's some ages for you.
Thank you. I love
I'm
that.
a 27-year-old man getting to know a 19-year-old woman. Is she a woman? And when
Yes,
she
legally.
mentioned another guy her age asked to hang out. So that sounds a little weird, but what he's saying is another 19-year-old who's a man asked her out,
On a date.
who's a woman. And they just, I guess, they asked to hang out.
Yes.
So
Okay.
I felt an unexpected sting of jealousy. How do I handle those feelings and heal from jealousy towards someone who isn't even mine? So it sounds like they may be talking a little bit.
Yeah.
One thing he did say in the longer question, because again, this is paraphrased because it was very long, was that both families, he says, both families approve of the relationship. So
But it's not a relationship.
well, that's what he said. Her parents approve of him being with her, and his parents approve of her being with her.
Despite the age gap.
Yeah. And he also mentioned that he's had some other relationship situations that haven't worked out as favorably
Right.
in the past, just for more context. What I would say, to answer the question specifically, because he said, how do I handle the feelings of jealousy? I'll be honest, is it jealousy? This is something that you need to ask the Lord. Like, you need to have, I can't answer this for you. Mm-hmm. Is it really jealousy, or is it insecurity?
Yeah.
And the reason I say is it insecurity is because you brought up that the guy is closer to her age. So is there a part of you who's worried, like, yo, is this relationship going to make sense? Like, is she really interested in me, or does she really prefer to be with somebody who's closer in age to her, and that's why she decided to go out with this guy?
Yeah.
That's something that you need to think about. Also, you need to think about, like, do I really want to be with a 19-year-old? Like, she still has obviously you still have a lot of life to live. You're only 27, but she's still, there's a big age gap. Yeah. Like it's not the age gap, because we just talked about 15 years. What is important at this stage in life, 27, 19, is the maturity.
Yeah.
Like the emotional maturity. And I know he also said that she's very mature for her age, which is great for her.
Her age is really not that large.
She still needs to get her degree. She still needs to figure out, because we knew, I don't know if you're going to remember this. Years ago, there was a couple that we knew. They're not a couple anymore, but there was a big age gap. She was younger. She was like in school, graduating soon, and he was already in his 30s. And he was frustrated because he wanted to get married. Like, he was like, I'm serious. I'm trying to push this relationship along. And like, as they started getting closer and dating longer, she started retreating a little bit, right? Because the relationship was going too fast for her,
right?
Because she was still trying to figure out her life,
right?
Now, this person could be in the same space. I don't know about you, but when I was in college, I didn't know what I was trying to do. I mean, we all still trying to figure it out, but at that age, it's really like...
Yeah, you can feel rushed, like kind of like pushed out of your youth, and like...
Yeah.
Because, you know, and there are a lot of people, I think there's some statistic, I forget what it is, what the age range is, but it says like, you know, your chances of marriage, there's like basically a sweet spot to get married, and a lot of it's not before 22. So a lot of times when people get married too young, it's like they don't really know what they're doing, what they're signing up for, what type of commitment that they're making, and they feel like there's like this grievance that's like, oh, I haven't lived my life yet, going right from your parents' house to, you know, house with your spouse, which can totally work, and there's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, in today's culture in 2025, and we live in a very independent-minded culture, if you are not kind of renewed from that and you don't really understand the cost of covenant, it can be very detrimental.
If she can't see herself getting married, whether it's to you or anybody, within the next 2 years, you should really have some pause of like, is this the right time? Because we're not even saying that she might not be the right woman for you, but maybe it's in 5-10 years, if that's the case. Maybe right now isn't the best time, because what you're going to do is end up hurting yourself, because you already mentioned you're 27 and you got a good job. You're not trying to wait 3-4 years for her to figure out her life, for y'all to be in a relationship. Now, again, we actually have great friends who have, I don't know if the age gap is this 8 years?
Maybe it's 7.
We have friends
7 or 8 years.
She got married when she was in college. But she wasn't 19, she was 21. Yeah. So, you know, it's different. She's still a teenager. So that's the point. You just got to be honest with yourself. There's some people who are watching this who are probably disturbed. Like, why are you dating a teenager anyway?
Yeah.
That's a different podcast. We could talk about that there. But just ask yourself, is this really worth it? Like, is what I'm going to need to go through in order for this to potentially work out worth it? Like, are there some women closer to my age?
Right.
And honestly, like, given all the stuff you said in your question
that you've been through,
that I didn't read, you may want to take a break from dating right now anyway. Yeah. Because there's been some things that you mentioned in your question that, you know, about breakups and healing and
past.
Yeah, I think you may need to take some more time to heal. Because one thing we'll say, this is for anybody. People ask, like, how do I know if I'm ready to start dating again after a breakup? The longer you dated and the more traumatic experience it was, the longer you should take a break to heal.
Yeah, it's like when your body, you know, you get a paper cut, it's going to take maybe even a day, not even to heal. But if you got major surgery, you were in a car accident, your bones breaking through the skin, it's going to take some months before you can really walk the way that you used to, and you're going to have a scar and all that stuff, and that's okay. Like, if you thought you were going to marry somebody or there was a lot of sexual sin and all that stuff going on, it's going to take longer for you to heal properly and fully and whole.
All right, let's hit this last theme, dating in your 30s, Christian men not seeming serious. The question is, I'm a mature Christian woman who's dated within the church, but the men I've met have been spiritually immature or inconsistent. Like one who even checked if his unsaved ex had gotten saved yet while we were talking so he could go back with her.
I love that she gave an example.
And she was like...
the immaturity.
And she said, of course, she wasn't saved yet.
Yeah.
With such few godly men in my church... And she's talking about she goes to a mega church, it's like
Which-
130 women and
Oh yeah,
15
she gave
men.
numbers, stats.
And similar ratios elsewhere. As other churches that she feels like she's gone to and seen similar ratios. How is a woman supposed to find a husband in today's church culture? I do want to say we did a video fairly recently on singleness and dealing with that I'll link right here because this deserves more context. And one of the things I love that people commented on that video is like, thank you for just creating a safe space for me to feel seen.
Yeah.
So that's what we are really doing here. Like, we hear you. We hear that your experience has been tough. It's been hard. We're sorry that it has been like that. I hate that
we
you've
wish there were more
encountered
options.
so many men who say they're godly who don't act like it. Here's my answer. There's not a good answer. There's nothing we can say here that's going to make you feel comforted outside of the Lord says he orders your steps.
Yeah.
The Lord says that no good thing will he withhold from you. Like when it comes to hard things in our life, all we can do is go back to our word. Whether it's dating, whether it's trying to have a baby, whether it's waiting on a house, whether it's waiting on a job, whether it's trying to get healing, like no matter what it is, when the answers are not easy and the solutions don't come quickly, all we can do is go back on our word as Christians. Now, this is real mature Christian talk. Now, again, that's not easy to hear.
Right.
There are no solutions that we can offer here outside of doing things that you've probably already done.
Yeah.
So the big point, don't give up hope.
Yeah.
Continue to go to new churches. Continue to talk to different men who are in your church who maybe you overlook them because they're not as cute as you want. And it's not even that they're not cute, but it's just they're not as cute as you want. Like, maybe you should consider that. Like, there's little minute things that maybe could open up more options.
Yeah.
But, again, sometimes we have to kill our flesh, whether it's killing our flesh to date some options of guys who may be cornier than we like, or it's kill our flesh to, I had a timeline for when I wanted to be married, and that's not lining up with what God's doing. And I got to submit to his timeline.
Yeah, I love that. And it's really a tough conversation. And just, I love what you said about, like, it's not something that, we're definitely not going to blame you or anybody who feels like, oh, well, you just need to try harder or open up your options. Like, sure, that if that's what you need to do, then you need to do that. But a lot of times, a lot of the women that we've talked to, we answer your guys' DMs and questions online and everything, and like it's not that you're not the problem, but there is a real ratio thing. There is a discipleship issue in the church overall. There's a discipleship issue in Christian homes, especially in the U.S. Like just lack of discipling, lack of fathers, lack of male figures and mentors and all of those different things. And if you're Black, then it's even worse. And all these different things. There's the prison numbers are insane. All these different things that are very real. But I think we have to just remind ourselves that we have our faith for a reason. You are in an impossible situation for a reason, and God does impossible things. That's his bread and butter. That he makes ways out of no ways. And I know that it would be very comforting and nice, and it is comforting and nice to hear testimonies and stories of people of how couples have met and things like that, and continue to do that, continue to build your faith, but also realize if you didn't need God for the situation, for him to bring you together with another, with a spouse, with a man, to build this beautiful marriage that I know is on your heart for God's glory and for his kingdom, it wouldn't be a beautiful testimony. And obviously there's so many stories of women who are like, yeah, I was XYZ age and it was way past my timeline, but God did something better than I could have ever imagined. And whenever the ratio or the numbers and you gave numbers and whatever, don't look at those things. They're just so discouraging. And you don't need 130 men at your singles ministry at your church in order to have good options. You need the one guy that the Lord has been pruning and discipling and training and growing for you. You only need one. You don't need a whole pool of options. Because if that was true, and I'm sure you've had your time on dating apps and things like that, there's thousands of guys, millions of guys out there, and if they're not for you, they're not for you. So just continue to build your faith in that. Remind yourself of ways that the Lord has come through in impossible situations for you before, whether it's your career, your finances, your health, friendships, family. The same faith, the same God that brought you through those situations is going to bring you through this impossible one too. If the Lord has put marriage in your heart and has given you a desire for a godly marriage and a godly family, like he gave that to you. He didn't put it there to tease you and say, ha ha, look what everybody else has, but you don't have. Like, that's not how our God works. So yeah, if it feels impossible, that's not a bad thing. It's just honestly a chance to keep surrendering to the Lord, and this could be your Red Sea.
Yeah, God is able to do more than we could ever ask, think, or imagine. So we hope this episode was helpful. Let us know in the comments what question and what answer we gave was a light bulb moment for you. And we'll see y'all next week on the W Podcast.
Bye.
Thanks for watching this video.
To get more Christian relationship advice, subscribe to our channel.
And make sure you check out our other videos as well.